just a poor boy from Liverpool. I'm just a poor boy from Liverpool.
Good morning, everyone. It's back to film and TV review. Whether this is a one-off, I don't know. But anyway, there's a few films I'd like us to have a look at, shall we say? Yes, a few films, and even I don't know what Jason puts at the back of me, and all the devils are here, as you know. Eddie Marsan, one of the great actors, and I've been asking people to watch a film called Still Life with Eddie Marsan. Eddie Marsan is a great actor, not only a great actor, but when you see the films that he's done, the likes of All the Devils Are Here, but I think one of the best he's done is Still Life, where he's just a little council worker working in an office. And it's very poignant because, without giving too much away, when someone dies and they're all alone and they've got no family, well, he goes to the home, takes everything down, and sorts out the burial for the person. And he goes to service. No one's there. He's the only one there. Goes to burial itself, and he's the only one there. So it's very poignant in that sort of thing. He's not married. He's just a bachelor living on his own. But if you want to watch a very interesting, poignant film, Still Life. And if anyone's seen it, just let me know and tell the people what you thought of it. Morning, Frank and chat, says the TW. Hiya, T. Like and subscribe, says the T. Thank you, T. And Edward. Hello, Frank and others and chat. Hiya, Edward. And Edward says, I watched one lately called One Battle After Another with Leonardo DiCaprio. It wasn't the best. And his films are normally good. Leonardo is a bit of I don't know what you call, shall we say, he likes young girls. And he was always with that Epstein and P. Diddy. That's Leonardo DiCaprio. Babyface. And Letitia has not seen Still Life, but will defo watch it later today. TW, honestly, you will. It's a cracking film. It's a cracking film. And what I have been watching lately is, during this slot era, I just want to get away from that man and football and whatever. So I watch films besides the news, for what I do for current affairs. I have to watch that. But I don't watch the propaganda nonsense. So I've been watching films, and I've been watching a lot of, I just mentioned propaganda, but the propaganda I've been watching is from the Second World War. And there's been some cracking films. Really has. To give the people a lift. To give our families a lift during the war. Because don't forget, bombs were raining down on them, so they needed a lift. So I've been watching some of them, and they're brilliant. One of them, you can get colorized versions, by the way. You can get, they're made in black and white, but they've colorized them, some of them. And one of them is The Way Ahead with David Niven. And David Niven, came from Hollywood. He wanted to join his old regiment because he was a former soldier. He's a former officer. And he was nearly killed on the D-Day landings. He was nearly killed, which was shocking. Would have been... I like David Niven. I think he's one of these suave fellas, but he's not over the top, if you know what I mean. In acting, he's a very good actor. And Barry Aldridge, morning Frank in chat, didn't know Eddie Marsden by name, but knew his face. He's one of those reliable, characters who seems to always give a solid performance no matter what no matter what his role is. Watch Still Life, Barry. Watch Still Life. It's an absolute brilliant. Oh, it's my old little mate. Teresa Maria Fitzgerald. The best Irish name anyone could ever utter. Teresa Maria Fitzgerald. Hiya, Teresa. I hope you're well. I promised you the last time, didn't I, that I'd get in touch? And I'm awfully sorry I didn't. I'm awfully sorry that I didn't. Anyway, I will. I'll let you know what's going on with me. I'll message you today. Definitely. And thanks for popping in. Thank you. And CW says, morning, Barry and Edward. Like some of the films I want you to have a look at. One of them, these are not the propaganda. I'm just going to mention a couple that you can get on YouTube. Obviously, these are not going back what I want to talk about. These are more recent. And one of them is called Heist. And you get this on the YouTube, believe it or not. And it's Heist with Gene Hackman and Danny DeVito. So I'd watch that if I were you. That's a cracking film. Great Hackman. Great actor. So anyway, he's in it. And Danny DeVito, as I said. And there's another one, which I think it was the first time that they used special effects it was brilliant, in other words. And I went to see this at the cinema when it first came out. And it was known then as An American Werewolf in London. But you get it on YouTube under a different title. I forget what it's called. The title, forget it. It's like the werewolf something, It's really good. It's a good film. So I recommend that as well, what you can get on YouTube. So that's the Heist. It's just called Heist, not The Heist. And then this werewolf thing, as I said, I went to see it on the cinema. And it's the first time that they ever used special effects. Brilliant. Jenny Agutter's in it as well. It is a good film, actually. It really is a good film. Yes, David Niven was a great actor, says the T. Yes. Yes, he was. He had that motor neurons disease, which is a terrible disease. You can't do anything, you can't. It's paralysing, actually. That's what he died of. And Edward says, another film I watched. I know what you did last summer. Yeah, I liked it. Have you seen that one? Yeah, there's a franchise of them. There's a latest one out now, actually. 2026, 2025, 26. A new one. I know what you did last summer. It's good. There was a little franchise of them. So yes, watch them. If you're in the horror genre, there's one. Excuse me. There's one called The Breed. BREAD. The Breed. That's a very good film. It was made in 2006. It really is good. The Breed. It's about a few people, two brothers, and two girls, and this other fella, and they're in a plane. They come from a privileged family, and they land on this lake, and they're going to their uncle's cabin, which is on the lake. Watch it. It's good. And getting back to, I'll tell you another. There's a film that was made around, I don't know, in the millennium anyway, around 2003, 4. And it's based on a true story. And it's good. And it's called Open Water. Open Water. Try and get a hold of that. Open Water. There's two films, two true stories. One is called Open Water, which I recommend, by the way. And there's another one called The Reef. Still can't pronounce the F's, with this bloody tooth. The Reef. But it's called The Reef anyway, and it's great. There's two of those things. Open Water and The Reef. Two entirely different films, by the way. The Reef and Open Water. Some of the propaganda ones, before the propaganda ones really came out, but it was a sort of a propaganda one. And it was made in 1939 with Margaret Lockwood and Michael Redgrave. And it was called The Lady Vanishes. But you can get a colorized version of it on YouTube. And Dame May Whitty is in it. Dame May Whitty. And do you know that Dame May Whitty is a Scouser? Yes, Dame May. Because her brother was Michael Whitty, who became Chief Constable of Liverpool. Big story behind it, but it's really good. It's a historical thing, what I mean by saying that there's a big story behind it. When I do a history show, I'll let you know more about it. Michael J. Whitty and Dame May Whitty. It's good. And Edward says, 12 views, that's a lot. Yes, for me little for our little film and TV review. And Edward, hello Barry. Do you drink in the Golden Lion? I go past there sometimes. I know it's up your way. And Edward says, that's the one I watched, Frank, the new one. Oh, good. There's a few others, before then, Edward. I know what you did last summer, but they are good, actually. And Edward says, there's a new film that's come out on Netflix. I watched it yesterday. Thrash. It's called. It's about an American town that gets flooded, and there are sharks in the water eating people. There's a lad named Dennis Paparak. He lives in Tampa. He's always over in Liverpool. He's a big Liverpool football fan, by the way, but he's also a big Beatle fan, and he's in a band called the Incurables. And he's coming over at the end of next month. He's actually coming to visit me here, and you won't believe he lives on a lake, and his neighbours, believe it or not, are alligators. Alligators. He said to me, "Do you fancy coming over here?" And another lad, Scouser, he went to live in Canada many years ago, and his name is Pish Marley, and he's just got older. When I was hacked, I lost a lot of friends, and I'm terrified to, when someone asks to be the friend, you know what I mean? You've got to confirm it. I'm terrified to do that in case I get hacked, because that's how I got hacked the last time. And I lost so many. I just lost it. They took away my account because I don't know what this prat was up to. He's asking for money and, conning money, conning people. Anyway, no one gave anything, but they took away my account. I appealed against this, saying it wasn't me. Whatever. I never got it back, so I had to do this account. Anyway, I lost Pish Marley, and he got hold of me only a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, I've added him, and he lives in a place called Parry Sound in Canada. And he said to me, I'm going back a few years ago. He said, Frank, he said, come over, visit me. He said, just come over. He said, stay here a short while and whatever. He said, I've got a big studio there because he's a musician as well. He said, and he can do your podcast from there when you come over. So I said, I don't like long haul, I'm being honest. Anyway, he put out, what was happening in his, as they call backyard, some we call them the garden. And there was all bears scavenging around. Bears, big black things, and he wanted me to go over. No chance. Anyway, Barry says, seen American Werewolf, Frank. Quite funny when his mate Jack and David were in the cinema. Yes. And do you remember when they were in the pub on the Yorkshire Moors? And Brian Glover was there. One of the customers, Brian Glover, great actor. And Barry says, I think he said something like, he looked well. Not sure exactly, but I liked it. Yeah, it's a good film. You get it on YouTube. It's there anyway. It's both, Barry. It's both. He's got his own thing, and he does, obviously, anyone coming. I don't know where I am. I'm sorry, people. Can anyone see me? Because I can't see you. I don't know what's happened. I really don't. Might have to finish. I just don't know. Don't know where I am. God blimey, I thought that I lost you all. Sorry about that. Well, anyway, I'm back. I couldn't see you, I really couldn't. Don't know what happened. It just went off on me. There are 4 biopics coming out about the Beatles, and they're coming out at different times, says Edward. I can see you. I can see you, Frank, says Gary Rigby. Yep, can see you. No, you can't, obviously, because... but when I went off, I couldn't see you. I thought I went off completely. And Letty says it's amazing how many films and all TV programs are on YouTube for free. Yes, there's. I tell you, I was watching it the other day. I like Kenneth Moore. I think he's a great actor. Funny, and he's in a film called Northwest Frontier. That's a little, it's great. I liked it. I liked it when it first came out, and I liked it when I watched it the other week, and I went, that's good. Northwest Frontier. But I've seen him in, and I think this film, when I first put it on, and the opening scene, and anyway, there's a lord in this massive house, got loads of servants. He's got daughters, and they've got boyfriends, whatever. And Kenneth Moore's in it, and he's the butler, he's the head man. And he says to his lordship, why don't you have an equality day? He said, what do you mean? He said, getting the servants and making them all equal. And this is like in Edwardian times, if you know what I mean. The settings in Edwardian times. So he said, okay, it's really about class. Very good. It's about the class and how the class works. So he said, okay. And the next, honestly, he has all the servants, coming into, into the main room where he dines himself. And he's got his daughters making them cups of tea. And he's got friends coming around, right? But one of the daughters' boyfriend he's a lord himself, and he's very far back, and he has to talk to these servants. And this girl comes over, and she's a kitchen maid, and she just sits down by him. And he said, "What's the weather like in the kitchen? What's the weather like?" That was his thing. Then you had this lady coming in, an old like duchess or whatever she is, and comes in. Now she doesn't realise that it's an equality day. And goes, she goes in, and this lordship says to her, "Oh, I'd like you to introduce, and he's got one of the servants, but he's dressed up in a suit." And she said, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And he went, "Oh, I'm okay." And she said, "And what's your profession?" And he said, "I'm an underfootman here." And she looks at him like that because she didn't know, you see. And she goes to his lordship and says, "You introduced me to an underfootman." But it's the class, the way they react. And it's called the Admiral Crichton. Brilliant film. And you get that on YouTube. "You introduced me to an underfootman." Watch you. Watch you. And as I said, like all these little films, especially the propaganda ones, I've asked you to watch, and it's colorized, this one, with David Niven. It's called The Way Ahead. It's really good. And you just see like a bunch of lads, they don't know each other, come from a variety of different jobs and that, and they're all called up. And it's really good. And then they're in the same regiment. It's good. The Way Ahead. It's a great propaganda film. Kevin Pine. "You're back, lad. You never walk alone. To you and your family and friends and fans of your channel. Later, lad," says Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. And Gary Rigby. Hiya, Gary. "Been watching old films about the great man." Oh, yeah. Loads on YouTube about him. Yes. I went into his studio once. He was an enormous size, And he was in the Irish Guards, believe it or not. Such a sweet man as well. But you wouldn't want to argue with him. And Barry says, "Sink the Bismarck, Frank." Frank, hang on, "Sink the Bismarck, Frank." I've seen it about a dozen times, but yeah, you get that as well. Kenneth Moore and Dana Winter. And Gary says, "Ever seen a film called The Ruling Class?" Yeah, made in 1970. It's very funny. Try and watch this then if you're interested in them. Try and watch the Admiral Crichton. It's brilliant. And what's that? and Rush on the far side. And that's a cracker, that. Oh, he said that John Motson. And Rush on the far side. Yeah, got you right away there. Anyway, I'm so disillusioned with our club, Frank. Edwards walked out, then came back. I'll have to tell you about that. Sorry. Edwards walked out, then came back. We're not as serious as a club. I'm going to tell you something now, and this is what happened. FSG told him to leave. You've got to understand. He was told to leave, Edwards. And Julian Ward, they said to him, and you leave 6 months later, but you'll be guaranteed that you'll be back within 2 years. 2 years. The next is they're back again in 2 years, but they're told not to take any jobs or anything, and they didn't. Even Manchester United offered a job to Edwards. They offered him a job. Man U wouldn't take it. Then he came back, Edwards and Julian Ward, within that 2 years. Now think about that. Why was it? And it was to get Slot out, because Edwards and Slot never ever got on. Every time Jurgen Klopp asked, did I say Slot then? Every time Jurgen Klopp asked for their money after winning the Champions League and also the Premiership to strengthen the side, he wasn't given any. We never ever strengthened. Look it up. We never ever strengthened after those two great victories. Then what it was that Jurgen Klopp had too much power over the fans. The fans loved him, just like we loved Shankly, going back in my day. As a kid, I loved Shankly. And I'll tell you why I loved Shankly as a kid, besides the grown-ups loving him. He embraced the city. He embraced the fans. And he built foundations that we see today. Bill Shankly. And there's a great banner. It's a black and white one. You know, a big photo. I used to have it as a backdrop to me when I was doing my football. And it's called, you just see this young lad with a little banner up saying Shankly lives forever. And that's what that's the impact that this great man had. Now we know about Paisley, greatest manager, British manager ever, him. Then we had Joe Fagan, treble winner, first season. And then it goes on. Then a fella comes along named Jurgen Klopp. And Jurgen Klopp took Liverpool by the scruff of the neck, and he embraced the city. He embraced the fans. He embraced you. He embraced me. He embraced everybody. He just loved the club. He loved the fans. He loved everything about Liverpool. And he used to go out of an evening to feel and get to know the city. He used to just stroll around. Did Jurgen? The city, getting to know it. Getting to know the city. Then all of a sudden, he has this aura about him with the fans. A big aura. They all loved him. Big Jürgen. They even still talk about him today. And they want to get rid of this slot because he's as useless and as clueless as anybody I've ever known to manage Liverpool. And that's saying something. A clueless man who's never embraced the city. He's never embraced any of the fans. Never. He just stands there on the touchline with his hands in his pockets. And the Galatasaray game at Anfield when we beat them 4-0, he was told it was scripted for him to be more animated. And if you go back to that game, have a look. And you see him jumping up and down. And I said as I was doing the watch along, this is animated, this. Can anybody see that? Can anybody see? All of a sudden, he's jumping up and down, shouting at the referee and whatever. And he did it again, didn't he? One more time. And who did he do it against? PSG. When he was shouting at whatever he was shouting to show animation. He's a phony. He's a phony. And I don't like phony people. His coaching is abysmal. You've got young Ekatike there, who's, a terrible injury. And that's because there's no strength in the legs. You only had to look at Isak. When someone went in, that Van der Ven, whatever his name is, he went into and broke his leg. There's no strength. They seem knackered after 80 minutes, 70 to 80 minutes. They fall off. And his tactics are this. And if anyone can't see it, well, his tactics are, if we go into the lead, stay back. Let's defend that lead. Say it's first half. And let them come at us. And let them tire out. This is tactics. This is why we've been abysmal. This is why we've been abysmal. Try and let them tire out, but instead we tire out quickly. The other night we were running around like headless chickens. So, what would Klopp say? He'd have them all by the scruff of their neck. But they wouldn't be training the way they are, with medicine balls and tennis balls. What's that telling you? So they had to get rid of Jürgen Klopp. And as soon as that Edwards came in, Jürgen Klopp was an admirable person. And he would have finished out his contract. Because he still has another year to go on his contract. And as soon as they heard that Edwards was coming back. Now, this is where, a lot of people are going on about Trent. Obviously, they knew that Edwards was on his way back. And they say, Trent was learning Spanish. Trent left because he knew that Jürgen would throw in as, he did, he said, listen, lads, and this is at the start of the season, I'm going to throw in me resignation. I won't be here. And then he came back. And he threw his resignation in. And fans were saying about Trent, oh, he was been learning Spanish for 18 months and all that. That's why. You look on his last day, Jurgen Klopp leaving, when he had that stupid little presentation on the middle of the pitch. Even his wife, Ula, turned her back on John Henry and Lindsay and those stupid things going on. She didn't want to get up and shake hands with him because it was planned to get rid of him. Planned. And what you see Trent bawling his eyes out. Bawling his eyes out. Because Jurgen Klopp nurtured him. He was like a second dad to him. And he was leaving. And he didn't want to be with Liverpool any longer. Well, what they did to Jurgen Klopp. He's a scouser. Jurgen said to him one day, you'll play for Liverpool. You will play for England. And one day you will captain Liverpool. And that kid believed it. He was a kid. He was a kid. And look at him. If Jurgen Klopp was still with us today, I'd guarantee you now, Trent would be with us. I'm telling you. And he went to Real. But people get the wrong sides of the story about us leaving. Hacksaw Ridge is a good film. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen that. Edwards. It is a good film. It is a good film. Barry says, Edwards, the only golden lion near me is in Rainford 4 miles away. Sorry to disagree, to digress right now. These are talking to each other, no problem. And Edwards says, it was weird the way Edwards came back straight after Klopp said he was already coming back. Before then, Edward, that's why Klopp left. They knew that he was coming back before he did come back. They knew that he was going to come back that season when he did. And that was when Klopp said, well, this is going to be my last. And this wasn't in the November as well. This was before the season started. And he said, I'm going. Can't have this. I have never felt this down as a fan, Frank. The way we're playing is boring, slow, lethargic, and it's a reflection of the manager. We can, of course, have transition. No, this is not a transition season. I'll tell you for why. But this fella is clueless. Yes. They're the excuses. I wish I knew your name, but I'll just call you Rushy. Rushy. How can I say this? These are the excuses coming out. They won't even let Diogo Jota rest in peace. They're coming out as excuses. And it's shocking. It's shocking. And I'm being honest, you might think I'm out of order here, but think what you like. But I think the fans as well, they're not letting them rest in peace every 20 minutes. Wasn't that supposed to be for the 20 games that was played and then stop? They're not helping. They are not helping. You might think I'm controversial there, but it's the way I feel. And I'm a big red. So this another excuse is the transition. What does Edwards and Hughes say? We've brought these players, this is in the summer, we brought these players in for Liverpool to dominate for the next 10 years. That's what he said. And I gave the analogy of Slot as a chef. And he couldn't mix the ingredients to make the cake that they wanted. And it came out flat. And he still can't mix the ingredients because he's that useless as a chef. And Barry, LA Confidential is a brilliant film, Frank, one of the best I've seen for what that's worth. Spacey, Crowe, and Pierce. Yeah, Russell Crowe, great actor. Kevin Spacey, feel sorry. I know you might think, but I felt sorry for him. I'm talking about his sexuality. And then you had a fella who came out when he was 22 or 20 and said, "Oh, he touched me." You see what I mean? And that was the end of his career. "Oh, he touched me." That's wrong, though. You try to get money out of Spacey. But he didn't realise, well, he did realise. He must have said, "I want some money off you." And he said, "Well, no, you're not getting it off me, fella. Well, I'm going to destroy you." And he did. And I apologise because this is not a footy show this morning, but I have never felt so low going into the game. Yeah, I understand, Rushy lads. I'll be doing a football show anyway. I'm doing a watch along tomorrow. And if you think it's hard going to the game and watching it on the telly or whatever, I have to do a watch along. And Ted's off top of Frank, was watching your pod this morning from last night, and that silly little aggravating plant pot, Darwin Núñez, is definitely not some kid. He was deliberately being a blade. I don't know, I've known him before, like last year, and I told him off. He is a kid. We found out that he is a kid. He's 18 years of age, but an arsehole. And he was being what he think was right. And that's what, about Slot. Oh, I want Enrique. Well, Enrique's not coming here anyway. And he said that about Alonso wouldn't fit in with Liverpool, his style of play. I don't know where this kid's coming from. And so he'd rather have Slot in. And I asked him a question. Tell me why. Tell me what you like about Slot. Well, you know the rest. You know the rest. Ted's. But thanks for that anyway. And Lucy says, I watched Midnight Run last night with De Niro. He could be funny in films, De Niro. Great. Yeah, Midnight Run, fantastic film. With that Grolan fella. He died, Charles Grodin. Brilliant. Brilliant film. Very funny. Very funny. He's great, De Niro. But that Midnight Run, yes, highly recommend it, actually. Rushy, highly recommend it. Thanks for that. Ezra's great film, that. Midnight Run, yeah. And Kevin says, Frank, I'm with you. I think you're spotted. You can't kid it. No. I get rid of them. Even in real life, you know, you might think, what is real life? But, you know, I don't suffer fools lightly. Maybe it's because I'm me, I don't know. And I just say, that's it, you know, you're away. I fell out with some people. And I mean, people who once I had respect for, just walked away from it. Don't you dare come near me. Don't want to know you. It turns out to be arseholes, to be honest. Anyway, Rushy says, Frank, you are spot on. Scousers see through people. You cannot kid us. I don't like people that are, you don't like that people that are false. Yes. Yeah. We can see right through them, as you said there, Rushy lad. Well done. And Ted says, no one with an ounce of love for our club wants the man to stay. There is a deliberate separation from the fan base. I think this is what FSG wants. They want us a soulless money making pit with no. Yes, I agree there, but I don't know whether anyone ever remembers this. Excuse me a minute. I don't think anybody ever remembers this. But when FSG first took over, do you know the first thing that they banned? Have you any idea? I'll tell you what they banned. Banners. They said, we don't want banners. And he said, well, you can go and fuck off. You know, we're not banning our banners. Who the fuck are you? But what they really meant, do you ever remember when Hicks and Gillette were there? Were with us. And they had planes, you know, a biplane flying over with the tail, Hicks and Gillette out. And remember the Yanks and all this, the banners, but they get the Yanks out. Do you ever remember that? And that the banners that they wanted banned. They didn't want the fan base. But what the problem is with them now, if they really think that they can look at our fans, this is a local club. This is a local. It's not fucking in Boston, Massachusetts. This is here. This is Liverpool, England. This is on the northwest coast, not America. And if they think that they could rule Liverpool fans, they're in for a wide awakening. Because if they want to turn the fans against them, they will. They will. And they don't want that. They don't want the majority of the fan base turning against them. I'm not worried about a couple of little pods, and you know who I mean, who are FSG great. and they don't call them out. They don't call slot out. And you know who they are, these pods. You know who they are. Because they get a few freebies, a few tickets. Oh yeah, look at that. That'll look after you. And that's the way they are. The big mistake is to turn the fan base against them. Because we got rid of Hicks and Gillette, and we can get rid of these lot if they want to fight the fans. We're the local club. We're not some stupid American club, fucking baseball or whatever they play over there. An American gridiron with big shoulder pads and helmets. Let them fucking come here and play fucking rugby without the helmets and the shoulder pads. That will fucking teach them. Or rugby league. You imagine that? Loved that. I'd fucking loved that. They wouldn't know what hard manners. But anyway, FSG, I've never liked them. Being honest, I didn't want more Americans in. You even have Man United. When we got rid of Hicks and Gillette, you had that prick Poulsen, and Broughton. Broughton was a great big Chelsea fan. And we were at the peak at the time as well. And they didn't want Liverpool to sell to an Arab because that Sheikh Maktoum wanted to buy us. Because his two nephews said to him, listen, buy Liverpool. Make an offer to David Moyes because he wants to sell up. And they were season ticket holders. They were big Liverpool fans. His two nephews. So he looked into it and he said, okay. And Broughton and Poulsen were terrified of that. Terrified. And there's how. Now, Tommy Schmidt told me this. Tommy Schmidt. It was in a documentary with him, and John Keith was the frontman. And it was about the Inter game in '65. You know, the bribe at the Brian Glanville as well. He came on, but it was on like a video thing. Brian Glanville, remember him? One of the greatest of all reporters for the Times. And he even said, that he's seen envelopes and everything being passed to the referee, linesmen and everyone at the San Siro. And anyway, Tommy Schmidt was telling, I said, why have we got these people in? The Americans. And he said, why they got them in is because what has happened, the Sheikh phones up Rick Parry. They were buying the club on the Monday. And they phoned, this is the previous Tuesday, and they phoned up Rick Parry. And they said, can you come over and, cross a few T's and dot a few I's? And he said, yeah. He said, but, what about my wife? He said, I can't just up and leave. And because they said, you'll come back with us on Sunday. We'll fly you back for the Monday signing. So we said, well, he said, bring your wife. He said, well, what about Mr. Chairman, meaning David Moyes? And he said, oh, no, we don't need David. Just you just come over. So he said, okay. And there was a jet waiting for him, a big white jet at John Lennon. And anyway, he flew off. Now, Moores, in the meantime, he was trying to get hold of. He never left him a message and anything. So he tried to get hold of Moores after a few days, and he got hold of him finally on the Thursday. Now, don't forget, Moores was going to fly back on the Sunday with the entourage of Sheikh Makasum's entourage, that is, to sign up for Liverpool. And anyway, Moore said, where have you been? Where are you? Been trying to get hold of you. He said, I'm in the palace. He said, what palace? He said, with the Sheikh. He said, I'm here. He said, I've been here since Tuesday. He said, what about me? And there's the crux of the thing. There's the crux of it. With Moore's saying, well, what about me, the chairman? And he said, for you. He said, but you're redundant now. You're a redundant chairman. And he says, you what? He says, you get back here. He said, if you're not back here, you're out of a job. If you're not back by the weekend, I'm telling you now. He said, what about them? Fuck them. Put the phone down. And he flew back. He's back on the Thursday, the Friday. Anyway, he got, in the meantime, he got hold of Gillette, because he wanted to buy, didn't he? Remember, he wanted to buy West Ham and Aston Villa and even Liverpool. He approached, and they all told him to fuck off. Aston Villa and West Ham, and we did. So he said, he got hold of Gillette, and he said, you still want to buy Liverpool? He said, oh, I thought you were selling it to the Arab. He said, do you want to buy it? Make me an offer, but make it 5 million over the asking price, what they've offered. So he did. He's always said, can I bring in a partner? He said, bring in whoever you like. And he brought in Hicks. And look at them fucking pair. And that's how Liverpool was sold to Hicks and Gillette. Because, as Tommy said, he spat his dummy out to David Moores. Now, David, he's since passed on, rest in peace, but he spit his dummy out and he regretted, didn't he? Remember when he came out and it was in the Echo, he said, I made a big mistake. I'm sorry to all the Liverpool fans, because we were fucked with Hicks and Gillette, fucked with this lot. But have you noticed now on social networking, do you ever remember, like under Jurgen, lots of fans didn't like FSG. They just didn't like them at all. I don't like them. I've never had them, because they're American. It's not that I don't like Americans, if you know what I mean, but I don't like American businessmen. You've only got to see what's fucking happening in today's climate. These businessmen, they're all making money out of what? I'll tell you what they're making money out of: wars. They love fucking wars because they make a lot of money, believe it or not. Because they've got interests in that Raytheon, who make big bombs and everything else. The more bombs, the more money you get. It's what you call anyway. So Hicks and Gillette went. We got them out. And Broughton did not want any more Arabs to come in because of his team, which was Chelsea. They didn't want any rivals. And who did they sell to? Americans, because their model is sell to buy. And what's this arsehole said? Who lives in Manchester, by the way. and doesn't even fucking embrace us. Doesn't embrace the city. He was fucking found having dinner with his fucking wife. Have I guessed where? It wasn't fucking here. It was in Manchester. Fucking shocking at this. This man, Slot, doesn't even live in the city. I'm fucking sick of him. Clueless. I get that fucking excited. Angry. Fucking angry. Just fed up, honestly. Klopp would take responsibility as well for how poor we're playing. He's done it loads of times. Remember, I forget who we got beat by. He said, that's on me, though. He said, that's my fault. This fella doesn't. Fan input says that says, absolutely. Absolutely, Teds. PSG plays with us the other night. We were never beating them. PSG could have gone up another. Yeah, I agree with you there. I really agree with you. And this is how far back we fucking come. We're in a false position now. We had a fucking few lucky wins. Not only wins, but also draws. Frank, do you, like me, believe Klopp got tired of working with FSG? Just told you what happened. He never got tired. He was tired because they wouldn't give him any money. But he loved the club. Even Ula, his wife, said, when you finish your contract, because he still has another year on, this is all before this Edward fucking thing, I want you to take another 5-year contract out, because they loved the city. They loved where they were living. The kids loved it. Jürgen loved it. Ula, his wife, loved it. And the Rushy says, Teds, I believe FSG will try to stop season tickets soon. They don't want us. They want tourists to spend in the club shop. Yes. You can't, you can't swap over your season ticket to your brother or anyone else. You know that, don't you? That's already going through that. Daryl, Frankie, are you Daryl? I've got to get a tooth out, Fucking hell. I've had the toothache. I've still got it now. Right at the back. I have to phone them up on Monday to get it out. That's what I've been saying. Me and my whole family are season ticket holders. They want us gone, says Teds. Yes. Yes. And Daryl says, I love the Bicentennial, man. Robin Williams. Yeah, it's a great film, that, actually. It is. It's a very good film. Daryl, seen that years ago. Robin Williams, brilliant in it. And Rushy says, Frank, I'd love you to do a show on Lord Lucan's disappearance. I was doing it. I was going to do that. Lord Lucan. And I'm telling you now, look, Lord Lucan murdered his nanny or something, didn't he? The nanny of the kids. Murdered her. And do you think for 1 minute that the hierarchy are going to get him to, these are class people. These are the elite. These are the establishment. Do you think for 1 minute that he'd be put in a fucking dock? No chance. And do you know what it's like? Very reminiscent of. I think I'm going to sneeze. No, I fucking hate that. I'll tell you what it's reminiscent of. Epstein. Do you think he's dead? No chance. He's living in Tel Aviv, him. Anyway, the Iranians are bombing fuck out of that. I hope they bomb him. Hope he's right under the shell or a bomb or whatever. So it's reminiscent of that, Rushy. Slot's usefulness is like the proverbial ashtray on a motorbike. I like that. I like that. And Daryl says, Diogo Jota, since he passed away, has never been able to rest. I just said that before, Daryl. It's fucking disgusting and shame on the PR at the fucking club, yes. See, Daryl's got me swearing already. And everyone knows that I don't swear. And Rushy, I'm not having the Jota excuse for reason. If anything, it should have been. I said that exactly last night. Inspired the players to go on and perform. So I agree with you, Frank. I said that last night. I said it last night. So you see, it's a matter of I said it should inspire. Let's do this for Diogo. It's gone to the opposite. So that's an excuse. And he keeps coming out with excuses and keeps having a go at us, the fans. Slot. And John Rooney. Hello, John. As this armchair knows everything about the Liverpool manager's job, why does he not be the Liverpool manager? I'll tell you for why, John. I'll tell you for why. Because Hughes and Edwards want to run, they're managing the club. That's why they went to the Hughes' best mate, believe it or not, was a fella named Arnie Slot. And he went to him and said, do you want to be the manager? And he went, are you kidding me? No. So we got a second fucking great manager, coach. And they said to him, it's the job description. You cannot buy players. You cannot recommend players. You are just there as a coach. We get the players and we run the club. Got it? And he's gone, yeah. Now, he's only come here for his CV. Could you imagine him when he gets the sack, which he fucking is, I'm telling you now. When he gets the sack, he goes to a club and they go, well, who have you managed? Liverpool, go away. Yeah, won the league with them. Oh, did you? Who did you buy to win the league? When you took over the club, did you bring anyone in? No. Well, how did you win the league? Was the players already in place? Yeah. Okay. And the following season, oh, I bought players, yeah, I bought loads of players, got rid of some others, broke broke the team up, brought in these other players to win the league. Did you win it? No. What happened? Oh, well, fell apart. And you want us to give you a job. So you never really won the league, did you? If it wasn't your team. Whose team was it? Or some other previous manager named Jurgen Klopp? And he'll turn around to his second. Did you hear that? Jurgen Klopp. Get him on the phone. You can fuck off. You're not going to be our manager. Get this fella Jurgen Klopp in. He can be our manager. Seeing that you won the league with his team. Fancy having that as a scenario. Don't know about you, says Barry, and the chat, Frank. And I know it sounds daft, but I'm not 100% sure about Isak or Ekatike as long-term strikers for us. Isak, I always remember my daughter saying when we were after him, Francine, she said, Dad, this fella Isak, he's injury prone. Injury prone. God, fucking hell. And it's been proved right, the lad. And what was the fucking excuse? I don't believe. You remember when, at the beginning of the season, and people were asking Slot, why isn't he playing? Why isn't fucking Isak playing? We paid over 100 million quid for him. And he said, he's not up to speed. Do you ever remember that? What does that mean, he's not up to speed? I couldn't fucking believe that. And what does he do? He's been out more or less like through the season. And he's saying then he's not up to speed yet. Just after, a couple of weeks after fucking training, he picks him against PSG. Can't make it up. He's fucking well not up to speed. He's just got back from injury. Tomorrow will be a painful watch along. Oh, hang on. It'll be a painful watch along, Frank. If I'm honest, says Darryl. Yes, Darryl. And it'll be more painful for me. Watching it. And the Rushy says, the only people who are back in slots are now Stevie Wonder and David Blum. And CW, Midnight Run on YouTube. Yeah, it is. It is actually. Say, it is. Teto Frank, says Kevin Pine. And Stephen Cochran. Good morning to Frank and our fellow chatters. Hope all is good, my friend, as there are plenty of fake and phony people around. These grim, it is grim, isn't it? And Edward, I don't take fools lightly. Is that a quote from someone? No, I've just always said it. Honestly, mate, I do know a lot of quotes, actually, but I've never seen that. I've always said that. I don't suffer fools lightly, and I don't. I really don't. And Stephen says, the problem with the world of today, there's far too many do-gooders wrecking the beautiful world. That's the problem. The do-gooders, I think you've got to look at the warmongers. Those do-gooders are not warmongers. They're ruining the world, the warmongers. And who are the warmongers? Hello, Edward. But I know what you mean about do-gooders. And you're right, because you can't say too much about the do-gooders and what you mean and what everybody else means, because you could end up in very controversial surroundings. And Bella. Oh, Bella. Buongiorno, Franco and chat. Buongiorno, Bella. Good to see you. And Zaro, even the Boston Red Sox want them gone. There is riots there now wanting the FSG out. Stephen, FSG lack ambition, as they're only interested in profits, although we're a tiny business to them. Well, the tiny business is making them millions. Millions upon millions. And Gerald says, half of the fans at Anfield at games ain't fans. They're tourists or people visiting England. That's it. I know a lot of fans have stopped going for the fact. Let's be honest. Yeah, I've got to say this, Darryl. Suppose that you're visiting, say you go to Spain and you're visiting Barcelona for a few days, and Barcelona are playing that night. Would you go and see them? I know I would. If I was in Milan and those either Inter or AC were playing that night, I'd go and see them. I've been to a Napoli game when they were playing Sampdoria. I went. I was on holiday in Sorrento, and the bar owner, he see me, I was jumping up and down, and Liverpool was on the telly. He thought it was nuts, shouting at the screen and the telly. Anyway, he said, "How would you like to come along?" And I said, I think they were playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. I said, "Yeah." So he brought me into see the Napoli game. So it's things like that about tourists. And I don't think it's fucking full of them. I don't think there's thousands of them. Do you see what I mean? I think it's just the odd few. But you do get corporate. And that's who they get sent out to, especially in Scandinavia. Thousands of Liverpool supporters are over there. And all the corporate things go to them. That's who it goes to. But they do want more corporate stuff. They really do. That's what it's about. American owners view clubs as a high-yield investment, says Bella. They demand high prices because of global media deals, brand value, and the rarity of sports franchises. To them, that's silly money. Yes, of course it is. And John Williams, love the show, Frank. Nice to hear a proper Scouser fellow there speaking sense. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you, John. And Stephen says, I call FSG penny pinchers by making mega profits on the club by robbing the fans. Yes, that's why you've got all these shops. That's why I always support small businesses. Like my sponsors here and Gap Heating Service, they sponsor me just to help along with the, because this costs money. And they help along with some of the fees and whatever we have to pay out. But the beauty of this, Gap Heating Services, they help people. If you're a pensioner, for example, and you need your house decorating, and you're an NHS worker as also, not saying, if you're an NHS worker or if you're a pensioner, you get special discounts off Gap Heating Services. And they're brilliant. And they go in. We shouldn't allow pensioners or NHS workers, for that matter, who fucking work 14-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, coming in and trying to decorate the homes. Gap Heating Services help them with special discounts. And if you don't fit into the categories, just get them in, because you don't need to struggle either, and get a price off them without any obligation whatsoever. That's Gap Heating Services, who sponsor all my podcasts. Umbrella. Can everybody press the like and subscribe? Thank you. Subscribe the buttons, please, for Franco. Thank you, Bella. Thank you. I don't get many likes, unfortunately, and they've only got to press them. I forget how many, 1.3 views the other night on a thing, and I only had like 30 odd likes. So, how about this? But thank you, Bella. Mille grazie, cara mia, Bella. Mille grazie. Beans on toast. Big up, Frank. Hiya, Beans. Hope you're well, mate. So we've gone from films. We've gone from films to the footy. That's a nap, isn't it? Arne Slot never takes full responsibility for the way he's treated the club and the players, and he's out of his depth because he's a yes man to FSG. Of course he is. Of course he is. That's a foregone conclusion. He's a yes man. But everything has to change for next season because, as you know, it's Hughes and Edwards who are managing the club, not the coach. They're just coaches, and he's fucking useless anyway. And they thought that they could try and help him, but they know nothing about football. They're just like us. They're just like us, but they can't manage. They're not proper coaches, and neither is this fella. He's come from an Eredivisie league, which is one of the weakest leagues. It's seventh, I think, in the table of weakest leagues in Europe. And we bring him in, a Feyenoord manager, just to manage the greatest British club a world-renowned club. As Bella said there, they're only, FSG are only interested in the brands. Of course they are. Because they're worldwide. They're known globally. Lee Wiz, how you, Lee? How are you, mate? Big up Frank and Reds. How you, Lee? That's good to see you there. Really is. And Stephen says they would rather sell for hospitality tickets that cost 400 quid a game. Yep. Yep. That's absolutely genuine, that. Good shout there. And it is. Because they make more money. And Bella says, we all feel the pain that you're in, Franco. It hurts us so much to see our club go downhill. Bella, I feel sorry for your Marcella and your boys going the game, going to Paris, being destroyed, going to Anfield for the return. And it's fans like yours, your family. I know lots of their fans. And they've actually turned against them. I'm talking about hard-nosed fans who just say, get hold of the, get behind the manager, get behind this, get behind that. And they've done that for years. But they've turned against their slot. They've turned against them. They says we've had enough of this fucking arsehole. I'm sorry to swear. Sorry to swear, Bella. His name makes me swear. Stephen says, I was forced out by the club from a former season ticket holder on the cop stand. Jesus. That's mad, that forced out. The likes of Brian Granville, Hugh McAvenny, etc., couldn't hold a candle to proper journalists like James Pearce. Hang on, am I reading this, poets, properly? Brian Granville's one of the greatest of all. He exposed the bribery by Inter when we got beat 3-0 over there at San Siro. He exposed the corruption. Anyway, etc. couldn't hold a candle to the proper journalists like James Pearce and Chris Bascom. Two proper men of letters like Dr. Johnson. Are you kidding? Are you taking the piss here? James Pearce. Chris Bascom's all right, good commentator. He's not a journalist, is he? He's a commentator. I like Chris Bascom. Man United fan as well, by the way. James Pearce. Are you You're saying Brian Granville and James Pearce? Oh, sorry there, Paul. I totally disagree with you, mate. If you're tired of life, you're tired of Liverpool, not London. Dr. Johnson. If you're tired of London, you're tired of life. But I say, if you're tired of Liverpool, Fanzone TV. Oh yeah, big up, Frank. Smash the likes, people. Thank you, Fanzone. Thank you. Really appreciate that. No one does, No one does. I can only see two little likes. And Stephen Glocklin, you pay more for a seat with your name and number, so it becomes a clear hobby. Go in the game to watch the Reds. And Kloppo. Hi, Frank. Famzone TV sent me your way. Hope you will. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kloppo. It's lovely. Thank you so much. You see, I do a variety of things, Kloppo and Famzone, because I do a football show, obviously, because I'm a Red. I do a watch along and whatever. But I also do a variety of things. I'm a historian by profession, well, retired now, and literature as well. I'm a specialist on Shakespeare, Dickens, William Blake, all these people, Keats, everyone, Browning. I'm a specialist on them, and the prose writers as well, as I mentioned, Dickens, the Bronte sisters. And I also do current affairs, what's happening in the world today, with this one of the greatest, well, he is the greatest idiot and most dangerous man on the planet, is Trump. The man who thinks he's God, the man who thinks he's Jesus Christ, but says, I know, I was being a Red Cross rally. So I do things like that as well. Conspiracy theories. And Stephen says they would rather sell to tourists, Frank, who buy a fortune in the club shop on match days. Yes, they do. They do. That's great, though. Clive Lingerman. Yep. Big up, Frank and chat. Hope everyone well. Dean sent me from Fanzone. Oh, is that Dino? He's a lovely fella, him. I didn't know that it was him, Dean. He's funny as well, isn't he? Funny, Dean. I'd love him to come on here, but I can't fucking do anything. My IT is absolutely zilch. My granddaughter knows more about this. I wish she was here. She'd be doing all this, The great kids, aren't they? What did we grow up with? We grew up with a ball, didn't we? That's what we grew up with. Kids now today are growing up with computers and iPhones, and the only thing we knew was football in the street. I never wanted Ishak at Liverpool, Frank. It was a bad sign, says Stephen. When my daughter Francine, she said he's injury prone. This is before we signed him. Prove right. Not looking forward to tomorrow, but I think we'll win 2-1. Says Clive. Do you know what, Clive? I've got to do this watch along, and I'm not looking forward to it at all. I'm being honest. And Stephen says, I'm worried for the future of my beloveds under these Yanks who are taking us backwards under Arne Slot. Fact, you never work alone. We are going backwards. We're regressing into, don't like to say it, into the noughties, the 90s. Think about it. That's what we, as fans, should do, protest about FSG, says Clive. Yes, I totally agree with you. And Stephen says, you only see them at certain games, and seeing Linda in a red dress along with John W. Linda's nice. But you know that Linda, she's from an Italian family, migration family, and they like football. I'll tell you what the Italians like, as like I'm half Italian, and what they like is Formula One and football. That's what they do. They're not interested in going fishing or anything like that. You know what I mean? They just love football. But you're right. Oh yeah, look, Alicia says Lindsay has more love for the club than he does. You're right there, lads. That's a cracker, that Leaver's kid. You're right. She does, because she likes football. She doesn't have to dress in red. He doesn't say, will you wear your red dress today, Linda? And she's lovely. She should run off with me, shouldn't she? I can't run off with her because I can't even fucking walk. Never mind run off. Bella, united in voice and spirit, we must reclaim our heritage from those who treat our passion as a mere balance sheet. Whoa. That's right, they're using us. That's a cracker, that, Bella. And Ted's, all right, Lee, lads. Didn't know you there follows Frank, who is one of the only original Shankly lads left on YouTube. Scouts royalty. Scouts royalty. Just love the club, love our fans. I just wish this fella would have embraced us, but he does. It's too late for him now. The salute man. It's too late for him. He can't turn the club around. He can't turn the fans around, because they know that he never embraced us. He never embraced the city. He still lives in Manchester by the airport. That's shocking, that. Shocking. To live by the airport, to get to Holland or France. As the man in the Mac said, you better go back. You just look like two gurus in drag. Christ, it ain't easy. And Leader Wiz kids, big up Ted's follow Frank for a long time. Just don't get to watch much, mate. No, you're right. I remember you, Lee. Honestly, the Wiz kid, Leader Wiz kid. And Bella, hi Franco. This is Marcella. Love listening to you about the football. You're so passionate, and the fans on this YouTube channel of yours. That's nice. Thank you, Marcella. I always ask about you to your mum when she comes on with a broken English, because she's a lovely Italian lady. When you're off the match, I always ask about you, Marcella. And Barry says, I wonder what the overseas supporters think about us. They must say, what the hell has happened to LFC? Because they used to be yeah. Do you know what? I was only thinking that. Do you know, I don't mean that now. Do you ever remember just a couple of seasons before fucking this fella? When we were in the Champions League, we don't want Liverpool. Avoid Liverpool. Liverpool were, They were just there and they didn't want us. And I'm going back over the years, by the way. They didn't want to play us, any team throughout Europe. Now, oh, bring them on. So Barry, the overseas supporters, it's like um, it's like when you look at a team and you go, "Wow, what happened to them? What happened to them?" When you look at a foreign side, you've only got to look what's happening to Real Madrid. Stuffed by Bayern. And the way down there, the seconds or third in the league, 9 points behind Barca, and Barca are no great shakes, are they? So we wonder. But anyway, it's horrible the way a club ain't loyal to its supporters that support the club on match days. They've never have been, to be honest. And Kloppo, history is important, Frank. Yes, it is. I'll tell you. I'll give you the quote. I'll give you the quote, Kloppo, and it's one of the greatest quotes. Well, I'll give you two. I'll give you two quotes. I'll give you the Jean-Jacques Rousseau first. Man is born free, however, he is everywhere in chains. And when you look at that quote, he's a French philosopher, this fella, during the 18th century, the 1700s. And when he said that, we're all chained to the elite, to the establishment, even to today. Man is born free. However, he is everywhere in chains. So you're tied to the elite, no matter how. And the other one is by Leo Tolstoy, when he said, history would be a wonderful thing if it was true. You know what he meant by that? I'll say it again, then I'll explain. History would be a wonderful thing if it was true. And what he's saying there, that no matter what you read is propaganda, and what you hear is propaganda. And Leo Tolstoy said that. And that's all we're getting. Propaganda. Every single day. Good shout there, Kloppo. It is important. Bless your soul, Frank. It's Dean. How you doing? How you doing, mate? It's really good. Honestly, I didn't half enjoy myself with you and Foz, when we did that show together. But I can't hold a phone. I've got pains in my arms, and both arms, that is. And you might have seen me struggling that day, going all over the place, the phone, because I can't get on here, doing this the way I'm sitting down, because I'm useless at IT. And I'd rather just sit here like this on any show, Fozzie, or, you as well, Dino. I'd love you to come on mine, on a football show. Really would. And I fear we're back to the doldrums, say Stephen, under our current owners. Of course we are. We're going through a torrid time. And that sort of time, nothing's being done. Nothing is being done to remedy it. He should have gone after we were beaten by PSG the other night. Should have gone Tuesday night. Should have gone then. But the persevering until the end of the season. And Ted says that's why every fan should be supporting Spiritus Shankly regarding ticket prices and not spending in the ground. They are doing this to preserve for working class. I take no notice of them, to be honest. I'm being honest. Spiritus Shankly, they've got a little fucking thing of their own. And, they want money off you to be a member, so they don't speak for me. Have you ever heard them calling out FSG or slot? Have you? That's only the ticket prices. They only ever call, oh yeah, we're going to, they fucking banned the flags. What's that all about? Liverpool is built on banners. And why fucking buy them? Ban them. Don't bring your flags. Fuck off. If I had a flag, I'd fucking bring it and fuck them. SOS telling me not to bring a flag. Excuse me. No. Sorry, Teds. We can all demonstrate against the prices. We can all demonstrate against them. But we don't need to, these fucking SOS, Spiritus Shankly. They don't even call out slot. They don't really call out FSG. I know. Teds. And all future Reds that haven't got big bucks and haven't got big bucks to go to the game in the future. These pricks want the working class out, yet it was the working class. That's why we're a local club. Ted's, we're a local club, mate. And local means working class. Fucking hell, where am I here? Stephen Gloughlin. Love the Red Men's TV. Sounds as a pound when their content. Hang on. With their content. Love the Red Men's TV. Their sound as a pound with their content on their forums. Never watched them. There's a lot of people who don't watch them, Stephen. The poet, I was being, do you know what I taught you here? That's why I said it. Taking the piss, sorry there, poet. I should have known better. As the Beatles used to sing, I should have known better. With a poet like you, I should have realised a lot of things before. I was being facetious about Granville and Pearce. I apologise. I really do. Being a fan of the Echoes Reds correspondence, proud. So the party line jobs, most of them, Brian Reid was good enough. He said, do you know what? I was out one night. I was with Peter Houghton and him, Reid. And he was looking at me. And the way you try to have a conversation. And he didn't want to fucking know. So I said, fuck you. What the fuck are you? Brian Reid. Never forget that. He was always out. Tell you what it was as well. It was the opening of the museums. He was trying to, I don't know what he was trying to fucking be. Like, look who I am, you know. He was me, Peter, a couple of others. And I thought, oh, he's a fucking asshole, this fella. Not anyway. On my day of going to the game, we never had fan zone around the stadium that's robbing the fans by selling food and beer at a high price. Stephen, you know, you do get fans. Look, mate, you do get fans coming from everywhere, all over the country, and they're proper fans, by the way. I've got a couple of lads, a couple of friends who live in one Tampa, the other fella. No, one lives in Chicago as well, and the other fella lives in Seattle. And they come over. They go to game. They actually go to game. They've been in my home, and they go to game. They're just big reds. They try and get away from work with whatever, and they come over anyway. So you get fans from Scotland, Wales. And I embrace all our fans, by the way. And when they come over, if they're fucking hungry, you can't go into it. The chippies are fucking packed. So you have these vans. They only want something to eat. So you have these, like, mobile things that serve coffee, tea, and pies and whatever. And you meet up with them. That's the way I look at it, personally. And you get the pubs, don't you? Like the 12th Man, which used to be called the Solly. I used to go in there myself with our kid, the Solly, and the Stanley. The Stanley loves the season. That's how it keeps open with the football season, because the money that they take lasts them through the summer. True that. Kloppo. Right, Kloppo says, one of my favourites is, I can't fucking say, other than dumb, metuant, unquote. Let them hate as long as they fear me. Well, who said that? Who said that? That could come from, that'll be a nasty person, though, if you know what I mean. That could be a Trump or Pete Hesketh. I'm not saying it was them, because they can't speak Latin anyway. So, but it could be a type of them. Let them fear me because, let them hate me because they fear. Good quote, though. And the Freedom says, speaking of history and motives, my movies, most of my favourite movies are set in the distant past. Have you seen yes, about two rival magicians in London in the Victorian era? Yes, very good. Very good, Freedom. Colin Dykes. Hello, Frankie, mate. Hiya, Colin. That is my old mate, Glenn. Forget Spirit of Shankly, Crooks. Thank you. Someone at last. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, mate. Bella, come on, you Reds. Press the like button and subscribe for Franco. I've still only got 2 likes. They mustn't like me. And Glyn says, all right, Frank, hope your hair keeping well. Other than footy, roll on the end of the season. Not long now. To say Big Reds. Yes, Bella. And Colin says, it's on Edwards now. He needs to pull his head out of his ass and sack Hughes and Slot, because as long as Hughes is here, Slot will stay because they are mates. But I don't know whether you're aware of it, honestly, Colin, but Edwards is a mate of Hughes. That's how Hughes got the job. They're all mates, mate. And Ted says, I'm not a member of the Spirit, but I agree with their stand. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Ted, majority of us can afford price increase, as it seems buttons, but there's a load who can't. And that's why the atmosphere is, crap. Yes. No, I agree with you, Ted. I really do. But it's the prices increase. But I'm not allowing them to dictate to me. As I said, the only thing I can say is, if I had a flag and they said, don't bring your flags, I'd just tell them to fuck off. I'll bring whatever. If I had a flag that means something to me and to the club, if you know what I mean, and to other fans. Know what I mean? One of our greatest banners, I mentioned Shankly Lives Forever. I love that. But there's one there because Liverpool fans don't demand. We don't demand. We want to win the league every week. We're not like that. And there's a banner there which I think is fantastic. And it sums up everything Liverpool fans. And it's a simple banner, but it means so much. And there's only 3 words on it. Make us dream. That's one of the best banners ever. We've got funny banners, haven't we? If you think this is you want to go to Grafton on a Friday night, things like that. You've got the banner of Mo Salah loves it, especially his wife and kids. Mo Salah, where you see the caricature of him with his mad head. And it just comes out. He loves it. His wife loves it. His little kids love it. That banner. And he's going. He's gone. And that's why the atmosphere is diabolical. It was them fans who made the atmosphere, who live and breathe the club. Me and my family are from the local area, and it's sad to see kids who can't afford to go. I think it's not just kids, it's grown-ups as well. As well, mate, sets, honestly. Kloppo. Caligula quote. Did you know what his real name was, by the way? Caligula's name, that was a nickname for him. Because, these, especially the Praetorian Guard, they used to mess around, fencing and that. And they got sandals made for him. And they gave him the sandals, Caligula. and his name was Gaius. But unfortunately, he has a brain disease. That's why he went mad. And he did go crazy, by the way. Lucius Accius coined it. Says, meow mate, Glyn. I've got to say this. I've got to say it. I was out with a mate of mine. And we was walking along he was walking along Dale Street, not Dale, Victoria Street. And my mate said to me, he said, I've got to go and see a cousin of mine in the Lisbon. And I went, the Lisbon? And he said, yeah, we won't be long. We'll just go in. We'll have a glass and just see this cousin of mine. I said, oh, fuck. So I said, okay then. So anyway, we're walking along. We bump into Glyn. Glyn comes out. All right, Frank, how are you? I'm all right. He said, are you going for that? I said, yeah, I'm going for a bevy. He said, yeah, shall we go in here? I said, we'll just go into the Lisbon if you want to. And he went, oh, do you know what? I've got to catch the bus. He said, Glyn, got to catch the bus. Do you want a bevy? Got to catch a bus. After the Lisbon was mentioned, Odder and dumb Matthews, let them hate so long as they fear, says the Glyn, is a Latin phrase coined by the Roman tragic poet Lucius Accius, 170 to 86 BC, while originating in his last play, Atreus. Very good, Glyn. Excellent, that. And the other fella as well, Frank. 21 likes. Come on, press the button. And comments, please. You'll never walk alone, says Kevin Pine. Thank you, Kevin. Mille grazie. Mates rates, then Frank, says Colin. We're fucked. Yeah. Under this fella we are. Under Edwards and Hughes. Bill Shankly transformed Liverpool into a working class bastion by treating football as a form of socialism where everyone worked together for the same goal, and that is what's lacking today, says Bella. Yes. You've got to embrace, look, if you go and work somewhere, especially in a different country, you've got to bring your family. And if you don't bring your family, you've got to live in the city yourself. So he's living on his own because his family are not here. Why can't he go to a fucking hotel here? We've got a 5-star hotel in Dale Street. Why can't he go there? But he doesn't. He lives in Manchester. What's that telling you? He hasn't embraced anybody. He hasn't embraced the fans. He hasn't embraced the city. As I said before, what Jürgen used to do, he used to go out in the evening and just stroll around town to get the feel of it, to get to know the place. This fella, all he fucking does is gets to the AXA or the Titanic Hotel on match days and then the coach up to Anfield. That's what he fucking does. Fed up with him. Don't like him. I've got the toothache now. Back on the toothache. Got to take a load of tablets. Pain relief ones. I used to love going to the Albert on the match day. It was a boss pub. You'll never walk alone. says Stephen. Used to go in either the Solly or the Stanley. But I only used to have one beer because, I didn't like drinking before the game. I used to just go with our kids or whatever and have a beer with them, just one. Had a weak bladder as well. Always remember missing a fucking goal. I'll tell you who it was against. I'm going back during the 70s, 73, 4, something like that, when there was power cuts and we were playing at 11 o'clock in the morning. 11 o'clock in the morning we were playing. And we gets in the game. And I said, it was 11 o'clock kickoff. Never forget, it was against West Ham. Never forget it. And I said, as we were walking, I said, I'm going for a pee. As soon as we walked in, I said, listen, I'm going for a pee. We fucking scored in the second minute while I was having a pee. And we won 1-0. And I missed a goal. It's only happened to me, didn't it? It's only happened to me, that. And said, wonder if you knew my granddad, Frank. He was a top red, Jimmy Taylor. And Jared, I know Jimmy. I know your granddad said Jimmy Taylor. And Jared and James Johnson from Jerry Gardens. They used to make all the flags and just, yeah. James was me mate. Years ago when, funny James. And Jared lives in Spain now, Jared. I seen him in Sainsbury's, when was it? I think it was around last, I forget when it was. Was it last Christmas? And I remember, you're looking well, Jared. He had this lovely tan. He said, I'll just come over for, I said, okay. That was in Sainsbury's, really. Great, yeah. Did you know Bunter Davis as well? Bunter Davis, Jared Johnson. Oh, that's great, that sense, mate. Jimmy Taylor. Fucking hell. Keego. But he's not your granddad, is he, Keego? Unless he's your dad, Keego. Is Keego your dad? Fucking hell. What a small world, eh? Maze up, you mentioned that sense. Those lads. Tell you stories about them, but it's not about football either. The Albert was our local in the 70s, early 80s, says Glenn. They were, it was great, the Albert, wasn't it? I don't know about now because I don't go in. And Stephen says, missed the old programme shop that was in front of the Cop going back all them years ago. It was quality before it got demolished. Yeah. They're just memories, aren't they? Slot and Klopp are worlds apart, says Glenn. It's a desert apart, isn't it? It's a desert apart. After watching The Prestige, I got interested in the history of the word abracadabra. Says, oh yeah, the free abracadabra, yeah. Some scholars conjecture it as Aramic roots. Others say it's ancient Greek or Roman. Abracadabra. Aramaic was the language of Christ. Did you know that? That was his language. Aramaic. Freedom. You can never find the origins of some words. I'll tell you where else you can't find the origins of. And it's an animal. And they cannot find the origins of it. And you know what that is? Shall I tell you? The cat. And what you find in pyramids, what the pharaohs are buried with. Cats. And Colin says, Slot is a total narcissistic snob who thinks we, the fans, are beneath him, mate. You're right. He just fucking breezed in as though, say, like it was a shop. This is my shop. He just breezed in. I know fans who, not fans, players who despise him. Because he was picked by yous, and they must have thought, he must have thought, listen, they picked me for one reason, and these must know it. The players, that is. But you're right, Colin. But he's got a fucking big thing coming to him. He knows that the fans fucking despise him. You know that, don't you? He must know it. Afternoon, Frank says, my old mate Paul Beck, what the fuck is the BS coming out of Anfield? We have lost 5 of the last 6 games. They think we're fucking stupid. Do they think we're stupid or what? What we've been talking about, Paul. I've got to finish now. I've been on here for 2.5 hours. And I've got the toothache. Toothache there, right there. I've got a tooth missing. That's going to cost me 1,200 quid to get fixed next month. I think I'll say sue Nestle, because that's what biting a Kit Kat, a chunky Kit Kat. My fucking tooth came out. And Stephen says he's no connection with the club and the fans. It's bad news. Of course it is. What do Slot, FSG and the Tories have in common? All hated by working class scouts. Yes. You're right there, Cloppo. You're absolutely right. Sorry, late on parade, says Paul. Oh, yeah, Paul. I've got to finish. I'm suffering with the toothache. I can see it. Just come on me last night. I woke up. Tooth. Cheers, Paul, mate. And Ted's. No, Kigo, my uncle, my mum, is the oldest out of 9 kids. The stories have been told what my granddad and the lads got up to. Where is honestly, that's true. It's true, that's it. And Kigo is your uncle, eh? Ah, nice lad, Kigo. I remember him years ago. Remember him. He used to be mates with, I was married at the time, with her brother, Kigo. Really nice lad. And if you ever see him, if you ever see Keego, tell him I was asking about him. Ted, please. Keego, your uncle. Good kid. Well, he's a man now, isn't he? Just like to say, rest in peace to our 97. You'll never walk alone. Frank, absolute legend, says the Cloppo. Wow. Yeah. I can't do anything on that day. Throughout the years, I can hardly walk now, and I couldn't even go to a memorial. I used to go when that Grabadol, Grabadol, you know what I mean? She stopped the fans from going to Anfield. Well, I used to go down then to the bottom of St John's Gardens, to the little memorial there, Tom Murphy's memorial. Used to gather around there. Can't do it now. And I didn't do any pods on the day as well, because I'm mourning my own way. Being a survivor, mourning my own way for those 97 souls. Anyway, I've got to go. Thanks for keeping me company this morning. From films to football. Thank you so much. If you want to join me, I'll be on Tuesday with the football show. Oh no, I'll be doing the watch along tomorrow, so I'll be on giving a pre-match, do the watch along, and then it's a post-match right after. If you're doing nothing. And let's hope that we can sort it out tomorrow. We can't afford to lose. Yeah, I know some fans who want us to get beat, so this slot will be sacked. I never want Liverpool to get beat. Never want them to get beat. And you can't even predict now because we're terrified to predict. We used to say, didn't we? Yeah, we'll beat these and we'll do this. I'm not just saying Everton, I'm talking about any fucking team. But we can't do it now because of this fella Slot. He's got us playing dreadful. Anyway, Barry, see you tomorrow, Frank. Take some paracetamol. I've got a very strong painkiller there, so I'll have to take that. And Kloppo says, cheeky whiskey works for me. Well, the tabletamol, I daresn't take any alcohol. Terrified. But I'll take these painkillers. You're not supposed to call them painkillers, are you? It's pain relief now. But they're very strong. And Kevin says, nice one, Frank. See you tomorrow. Cheers, mate. Ah, the lovely Bella. Love this lady. See you tomorrow, Franco. Have a good you too, Bella. And a good evening. Now, don't forget, stream Still Life. Great film. Eddie Marsan. This fella here. Eddie Marsan's in it. Still Life, it's called. Watch it. Very poignant. And this film here that's behind me, film is All the Devils Are Here, which comes from a Shakespeare quote, actually. Hell is empty, all the devils are here. Brilliant. Oh. Nice one, Frank. See you tomorrow. Thanks you, Kevin and Bella. See you tomorrow, Franco. Have a good day. You too, Bella. Honestly, you too. And like this, Stephen. It's only a matter of time before Slaughter's gone and is a distant memory. So have a good day, Frank, for the rest of the day and talk soon, my friends. So peace out. See you tomorrow for Judgment Day. You never will alone. Colin's like, see you, Frankie, mate. See you, Colin. Thank you. And our lovely Bella. Will you, Frank? Come, Marcella. Have a look at it now. What a name Marcella is. Marcella. Mamma mia. Right, so I'm going. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for keeping me company. And let's hope that we can do it tomorrow against the Blue Noses. Eh? Up the Reds. You'll never walk alone. Every single one of you. Ciao. Ci vediamo.